I'm Callie Lewis from Geek Brief TV. I'm going to show you how to pimp your webcam today on the lab. I'm on fire! Ah!
Hi, how are you? That Callie, she's so hot. Good to see you. Welcome. She's burning up. Welcome to the lab. Leo Laporte here. This is the show where we help you understand your technology, all the technology you have in your life, whether it's your dishwasher, your cell phone, your camcorder, your home theater, your computer, your internet. We're here to help. We're here to explain it all. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Kate Abraham.
Hello.
How are you? Good to see you today.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'm feeling fine and fit as a fiddle myself.
Good. You're not burning like Callie.
Isn't that funny? She's going to show us how you can do that with your own webcam.
It's really cool, actually. It is really
Yeah.
cool.
She's on it. Believe it or not, that's on Skype from her home in Dallas.
With the audio as well.
It's really amazing. It really does.
So
It works
good.
so well. Anyway, we'll have fun with Callie Lewis of Geek Brief TV. Also, my buddy Randall Schwartz is here. He is a Pearl whiz. This is his new book. Yeah, isn't that great? Pearls of Wisdom. He is so great. But you know what? He's not going to be talking about Pearl.
No.
Now that he's written like his 18th book on Pearl, he's going to show us something else.
Toys for children, I think.
Yeah, well, based on Squeak.
Yes.
Squeak is the language of choice today. We'll talk about this OLPC, this one laptop per child program, and the interface that's used on it. This is a really interesting program to get very inexpensive laptops into the hands of children in developing nations so they can get technology education and kind of lift themselves out of poverty. So it's an interesting idea. And if you've wanted to see how it works, we'll show you how you can download it for free and put it on your own computer and what you can do with it. Also, Sean Carruthers with mini multimedia devices. New complete me mini device. And you're going to be doing something. You got a tip, right?
Yes, I have indeed.
And we just got a ton of stuff. We better get
So
going.
much stuff. And we have some great callers. We have our first caller is Ken, and he is from Edmonton, Alberta.
I'm keeping this book. Even if Randall's abandoned Pearl, I'm still doing it. Hello, Ken. How are you?
I'm not that bad. How are you?
Well, we're fantastic. Is it snowing today in Edmonton?
It has stopped, but it's about minus 25 with a wind chill, so...
Oh, that's nothing.
No, it's just a regular day.
What can I do for you today, Ken?
Well, I've delved into... I bought myself a little Mac Mini.
Oh, congratulations.
And driving my wife crazy because I have it hooked up to my 40-inch LCD that's hanging off the wall. So
I think that's actually a good use for the Mini. It can be a multimedia device, a home theater device, really.
Well, that was the thing. I switched some things around, and I moved DVDs to different rooms, and I figured, what am I going to do? Do I buy another one and buy all sorts of stuff? I thought, well, I've always wanted a Mac. I'm going to hook it up, and I watch you on the picture and do the computer at the same time. So
Yeah.
It calls me a super geek.
And so is that working out for you, using the front row built into the Mac to do the home theater stuff and playing DVDs off of it? And you could even watch, you could even record TV shows with an iTV. I mean, I know a number of people are starting to use their Mac Mini that way, and it's actually a really good use for that least expensive of Macs. I mean, it's not cheap; it's $700, but it's a good use for it, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, what can I do to help you with it?
My question is, I want to use a webcam for it, and I'm just needing your advice on what the best webcam to use. Or I have a Logitech that on my PC, and I don't know.
Right.
To use it so that it works with photo booth and whatnot.
If we had a webcam, we'd be seeing your, more than a still picture of you, we'd be seeing your full motion video.
That's for sure.
And that's why I want you to get a webcam. Well, the good news is, until recently, a lot of USB cams, the kinds that were sold for Windows machines like that, Logitech didn't work with Macintoshes without additional software. Now, there has been for some time a open source project on SourceForge called MacCam that would allow you to use many of these. But now, Logitech's seen the light, and almost all their new USB cams work just fine. I use the Logitech QuickCam UltraVision. Works great on a Mac. It's actually a pretty nice USB camera. But the best thing about a Mac is you can use any DV camcorder as well. Do you have a DV camcorder?
No, I've got a Samsung DVD camcorder, and it's not compatible.
Yeah, it has to have FireWire out, but in many cases the Mac can see DV cameras. And by the way, that's by far a better way than a USB camera. FireWire is faster. It's a much, it's $1,000 camera. It's going to have a better lens and so forth than a $100 USB camera. Let me show you a site. This is at eCam, ECAMM.com. They do a program called iChat USB Cam that allows you to video conference with a webcam. And they have, because they have a lot of experience with Macs and webcams, they have a list of compatible cameras. They sell their own, the iMage. You know, Apple stopped selling the iSight, which was their very good FireWire camera, so now you have to go out. And these are all the cameras. Now, some of them require that MacCam driver you see there. That's free. But many of the newest ones do not. In fact, if you look at the new Logitech, like the QuickCam Ultra that I just recommended, built-in driver for OS 10.4.3, or later, Tiger in other words. And so that's kind of handy. Now, which Logitech do you have?
It's a QuickCam.
QuickCam Orbit?
Shoot.
It doesn't matter. Some of them will work. You see the QuickCam Pro does. Some of them just you have to go and download this MacCam software. That's all. And that's you know, you can get this is free, open source, works very well, and it has also a list of supported cameras. So if you've already got a camera, I would check here at the MacCam site. That's webcam-osx-sourceforge.net. Okay. Let me show you that URL real close here. webcam-osx.sourceforge.net. And once you get there, they have a list of cameras that work with MacCam. And without a doubt, your Logitech will either be on this list or will work without a driver at all. I mean, you can always just plug the Logitech in and see if the Apple recognizes it. Okay? So one way or the other, we'll get that USB cam working. As I said, a FireWire camera is going to be better, especially if it's a high-quality DV camera. You're going to get better image, but USB cameras work fine. And for stuff like this, it's fine. Now, when you see Callie, who's coming up in just a second, she's on a high-quality FireWire camera hooked up on a high-speed network via Skype, and it looks almost as good as a studio. I mean, it's amazing what you can do, but that requires good bandwidth and great cameras, and that's a fancier setup than most people have or even need, to be honest. So hey, have fun, Ken. I think that's a great project. I have my Mac Mini sitting next to my TV, just waiting for me to get some time to hook it all up. I have an Apple TV too, but I think the Mac Mini is going to be more flexible. I'll be able to play a broader variety of stuff. I can use BitTorrent and stuff to download. It should be very interesting. I look forward to playing with that. I think you're ahead of your time, shall we say, Ken?
Right on.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And have a great day. Stay warm.
You bet. Take care.
All right. Thank goodness for central heating. I don't know how people lived before. I guess you have a big fire in the fireplace, right? I don't know how you do it. Coming up in just a bit, Randall Schwartz is going to teach your kids to program. Forget Pearl, folks. We're going to squeak with e-toys in just a bit. You stay right here. I just asked Randall, is this your 13th or your 12th book? He says, I can't keep track. I know how that is.
That's what I have the publishers for.
Yeah, I ran out of fingers.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. But his latest, let's put it that way, Pearls of Wisdom, just came out. Thank you for their copy. The copy, I'm going to be reading it tonight from A Press. They do some great programming books.
One of the reviews said that each article in there is the right length for one of their favorite activities.
We won't say which.
Used in the smallest room of the house.
For me, 5 minutes is plenty. So I don't think my wife would appreciate it if I'd be reading that book. But anyway, that's another matter entirely. You're not doing Pearl as much anymore because you, I know, got really crazy about something called Squeak. Let's start by talking about Smalltalk. What is Smalltalk?
Smalltalk's been around since the 1980s, actually the mid-70s. It was created at Xerox PARC as a way of having children actually interact with computers.
PARC was Xerox's research center, where
Palo Alto Research
everything
Center.
That we know about computing today was invented at PARC. The mouse, the windowed interface.
This is what Steve Jobs saw and took away with to create the Macintosh.
So Alan Kay and his team invented Smalltalk.
Yes. And then
is it still used?
Yeah, Smalltalk's still used quite heavily in big firms like Wall Street firms, things like that. It's one of those sort of quiet giants. It's out there being used in a lot of places. It just doesn't get the publicity it used to get.
It's not generally used, though, as an operating system or application programming languages.
But in places where you need rapid development, changing displays, changing screens that do a lot of different things, and be able to update them as the economy changes, as products change, things like that. So it's still used quite a bit in that sort of application.
It's also commercial, and it's expensive.
There are some commercial implementations, two main competing commercial commercial implementations, but there's also a free one, and that's what we're going to talk about today, which is Squeak. And the reason it was called Squeak is because they gave the name while Alan Kay and Dan Ingalls were working at Disney. So they kind of made the whole mouse image come along with it. So it's kind of cool.
This is kind of, Alan was at Apple for a while, and then he was at Disney, and that's where this development of Squeak came out.
Absolutely.
It's free. It's available on all platforms.
Yes, it has an open source license. A little bit of question about the license right now, but they're clearing up those issues, particularly because it's being used in the one laptop per child.
Let's not the Mac, but what we've got on the screen here. Right. This is the OLPC on the screen.
This is the $100 laptop that you might have heard of for the last couple of years.
Let's show it here.
It's on my screen.
Are they having trouble seeing?
I'm not seeing on something.
There we go.
Right. So this is the One Laptop Per Child XO, which is the first product from the One Laptop Per Child project. What the great thing is, it's in production now. It's being sent all over the world.
$200. So almost any country can afford this for their schools.
Right. And as you're watching this, they just finished up a program where you could buy one for your own child and pay double, and the other money would go to fund it somewhere else.
I understood they sold quite a few of them that way. So that's really neat. So this isn't running Windows. It's not running Mac.
It's running Linux. It's running Linux, actually. It's running a Linux kernel, and it has a number of things on it. They've got Python on it, they've got JavaScript on it, they've got something called C-Sound, which I haven't played with, Turtle Art, a lot of things for people to be able to program. So the particular part of it that excites me, though, is the Squeak part. They actually have a full implementation of Squeak on this One Laptop Per Child environment.
It's my understanding that the user interface the kids see first is that Squeak stuff, yes?
No, they actually see a thing called Sugar. They can one click away, they're in Squeak.
Okay, great.
So they're going to see that. And so it's called the eToys environment for educational toys or something like that, electronic toys. This was actually created for Squeak a number of years ago, but it was adapted for the One Laptop Per Child project. And it's actually, the great thing about this is not only is it available on the OLPC, but if you don't happen to have an OLPC, you can download for free from their website. You get the files that I've got here. We've got the link to it in the show notes, so you'll be able to download this. You also need to download the Squeak engine. That's also in the show notes about where to get that. That's from Squeakland. All free.
It's very simple. There's not really any installation. You just run a program.
Right, and here I am running it. This is what you'll see, and in fact, it's already active. We have here,
that's neat.
We have here a little car that's running around.
You can see how kids would be, this would appeal to them, because it's friendly,
Now, what's great is this is the interface you'll see with the One Laptop Per Child image. You can get more complicated images that have other things. But what's great is it has a gallery of projects. There's lots of things you can see already. One of my favorite ones is, let's see, this one right down here.
The important thing about the OLPC project is it's trying to get kids in underdeveloped nations up to speed with technology, and that may be for many of these countries a way out of being a second-tier nation. You know, a chance for them to be part of the growing technology economy.
Here, for example, is a dynamic simulation that was created probably in about an hour or so by playing with eToys. I'm not going to generate that today, but the power of it is already there.
Well, show us something we can.
Yeah, I'm actually going to write a program. We're going to write a real program. I'm going to go into here, make a project, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw.
I want to play with this. It's
and
not
here's
just
the
for
problem.
kids.
I'm not very good at drawing, but I'm going to draw a car real quickly.
You get a full paint.
I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw a car, and it's not going to be very good because I am not.
Randall's silly car.
I am not very good at drawing, and the point of this is put a front window in here, and then we'll also put tires. Come on, I can put tires in here.
Okay, you gotta have tires.
Okay. There's my 4 tires. 1, 2.
Well, it's kind of car-like.
I'm drawing this with trackpad. So
it's either a car or a throat lozenge.
Okay, well there you go. At least we tell the front of the car from the back of the car. That's the important thing. And I hit keep on here. Now, this looks like it's just a piece of paint. Like I just put some paint down there. But it's actually an object. If I right-click on that, I get a halo. And this halo lets me do all sorts of things like rotate it. And,
it's a 3D object, or 2D object.
But it has attributes. In fact, I can even scale it. I can say that car's a little too big. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. It does that for me automatically. But the important one is this blue one on the left. This opens up programming tools that are related to that car. For example, I can take this 4x5 and click it one by one, and it actually moves forward 5 units each time. Now I can say run that constantly, and there it is actually going. But it's live. I can actually pick the car up, drag it down, put it, and change where it is. But let's change this a little bit. Let's add into it turn by 5. So now, as it's going,
you're actually writing a program, and that's what's important.
I'm writing a program right now.
You're teaching the kids. Maybe they don't even know that, but they're learning how to program.
And so what you're learning is that a circle can be generated by going forward by 5 and turning by 4 each time, and so you get the geometry out of it, you get the math out of it, and you notice the numbers over here are live. These are actually the real numbers where it currently is right now.
This is amazing.
Let's do one more thing. I don't want to just turn based on numbers. I want to turn based on a steering wheel. So let's stop this for a second. I'm going to go back into my paint thing. I'm going to quickly draw using a big brush, a big steering wheel. Okay, that's a really, really bad steering wheel. Wait a second. Let's try this one more time. Okay. I'm just trying the top half of its steering wheel.
It's fine with me, Randall.
There we go. So there's my steering wheel, right?
Okay.
I'm going to hit keep. Now, what's great is over here, this is also an object, so I can click on this.
You get the halo
its own
again.
halo.
Get the green
and
eye.
notice here, there's sketches heading. I can drag this out over here. Notice it says 0 right now. I can then rotate this item.
And it's
as I
going to
rotate
give you
this item,
feedback
see
about
the
what
numbers
the heading is.
changing.
Okay.
Now what I do is I take
How
that
do we
heading.
tie that to the car?
Well, all we have to do is take this tile and put it over where the 4 is.
Oh, you can actually add it to...
So sketch, turn by sketch 1's heading. Now when I start taking this forward, as it continues, I can grab this and I can now control the steering of my car with the other thing that I just drew.
Randall,
now,
that is mind-blowing.
It's way cool. Now, this could be on my oil PC, and someone else could have a different oil PC and have the car. So I could actually be controlling other people's objects across the mesh.
This mesh network.
The mesh network for all that stuff. Yeah, it's just really incredible. I mean, look how simple it was to create a program there. This is
I want to play with this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a
playing
good
with
toy.
Yeah.
But I can also see the value to kids, whether they're in a developing nation or a first world nation. They can learn a lot of stuff. You say geometry. They can learn programming. This is true object-oriented programming.
Exactly.
And it's free.
It's totally free. Yeah.
So we have all the links on the website. We start at squeakland.org, getting your Squeak, and then you'll go to get the e-toys. Your website is stonehenge.com. I'm going to plug the book, although after seeing that, I don't know why anybody would plug Red Pearl anymore. This is too much fun.
Okay. This is great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're not going to write Windows in something like this, but boy, it sure is fun to play with. Absolutely. And you know what? Once you learn programming, then you read Randall's book, and you can do it in Perl, and you can run the web.
Exactly.
That's how easy it is. Randall Schwartz is one of the great guys. He hosts also a podcast every few weeks on our Twit network called Floss Weekly, all about open source software.
Absolutely.
We've talked about Squeak on that, and I'm sure we'll do some more as well. Thank you for being here, Randall. That is so cool.
Thank you, Leo.
Oh man, I can't wait to install it and play with it. Yeah, that's exactly.
I wanted this when I was a kid.
I know.
This is great. What was this when I was a kid?
This is better than racing cars. All right, now let's go take a look at something very close up. This is something you'd find around the lab. And see if you can figure out what it is. Now, it looks like a flash or something. There's a light in there. What could that be? Tell you what, we'll zoom out and find out when the lab continues. You stay right here. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we showed you this. Clearly a lighting fixture of some kind. I believe it's part of a robot. Oh, I was close. It's a robot. A Wowie Robo Panda. I didn't know exactly what robot, but I'm glad I got that right-ish. Half a point? Can I get half a point?
Half a point.
Can I get half a point? All right, half a point.
You also get this tape.
I now have 4.5 points out of 149 possible. But I did want to find Panda Bear. Now let's get another caller on the air here.
So butch.
You think so? Very manly?
So butch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our next caller is Darren, and he is from Kitchener in Ontario.
Hello, Darren from Kitchener, Ontario. How are you today?
Good. How you doing, Leo?
Say hello to my little friend. I am fine. I am fine. What can I do for you?
Well, the question I have for you is I'm trying to play Halo 3 online with some friends that are out of town.
Yeah.
Running into an NAT strict security issue with Apple Airport, and it's not allowing me to join in the multiplayer games.
Yeah. Can you do Xbox Live at all?
Pardon?
Can you do Xbox Live in any other context?
I'm good for single-player games, and I still get an NAT warning from Halo, but it's when I try to do the...
So you haven't been able to play any other games in Xbox Live. Can you actually log into Xbox Live, though?
I've only started now getting into errors with the NAT, and it's for the...
I understand it's for Halo 3, but have you been able to use Xbox Live in any other context?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing other games online where I seem to get the trouble if it's an online game with more than one person.
Yeah, and some people can get in, but not all people. Probably.
It seems to be an Apple Airport issue. I've been scouring the web for an answer, and no one seems to be able to... come up with anything.
I use the airport. Now, I use it hardwired. I use the airport with Xbox Live without trouble. Are you using it wirelessly or hardwired?
Wireless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are 3 ports you need to open, and I'll tell you, I have misgivings about the whole thing. First of all, the reason it works so readily on other routers is because they're insecure. They have something called UPnP, which Microsoft devised as a way to make it easy for an application on a computer to open ports on the router so it could work. Now, that's great if it's, Halo 3, but it happens to also work if you're any old, hacker boy, too. So if you get something bad on your system, UPnP can be used to open your entire network up to bad guys.
Okay.
And this is why Apple has not supported it. It's a Microsoft spec. It's in fact a spec that I recommend and Steve Gibson recommends turning off on all other routers. But there is a side effect. The side effect is programs like Microsoft's stuff, I would use a stronger word, that want to open up ports can't. It has to be done by you. Now, in my opinion, that's safer. It is more work on your part. It's inconvenient. There's very often a trade-off between convenience and security. I think universal plug and play is very, very bad and should not be left on any router. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean it's unsafe to use Xbox Live or to play Halo 3. It just means that you have to manually open these ports on the router, and you have to be very specific about where those open ports are going to, because you don't want to open holes in your firewall unless you give it some rules. So what you're going to say is UDP port 88, UDP port 3074, and TCP port 3074 are open and go directly to one and only one IP address, the Xbox 360.
Okay.
So there's an article on Microsoft's site, 908874, that tells you what ports to open. You can do this on the Airport Extreme. I actually haven't opened any ports on my Airport Extreme, so I'm not sure exactly what the interface is, but it's probably in a highly advanced area of the airport configuration.
I'm using a first-generation airport.
Yeah, you should be able to do it. Every router allows you to do port forwarding. It's just where you go to do it.
Okay.
So you could also go to Apple's site and look up port forwarding for instructions on how to do it with the airport.
Okay.
It's first-generation airport?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have the later Airport Extreme, and I'm wondering if maybe I should check, maybe they've enabled UPnP because I don't have this problem. Uh-oh. It's actually good. You know, you go, and I'm sure you found this, you go into your Xbox, you go into one of the blades for network settings, and you can say, is my router open, strict, and I can't remember what the middle status is.
It says moderate.
Moderate. You want strict!
And it's on strict. And
that's good. But it will inhibit certain things. You'll have the same problem if you want to use MSN Messenger, for instance. And MSN Messenger expects to just go right up to the router and say, hey, let me out. What it's doing is it's not, the outbound stuff is not the problem. It's incoming. It's accepting incoming connections. And your router will, by default, and this is what it's supposed to do, reject all inbound connections that haven't been requested. So what it means is that you're playing Halo 3, you're playing along, and somebody wants to join you, they get bounced off. Or a connection wants to be made from the Halo 3 server that you haven't said explicitly you want, it gets bounced off. That's the right behavior. You have to explicitly tell your router, no, if somebody wants to connect to me on 88 or 3074, okay, but it should go right to the Xbox 360. That keeps it away from your other computers, just in case. Because you know what happens inevitably when you see stuff like this, and I can guarantee you hackers are doing it already, they write Trojan horse programs that use those ports. And they say, well, hey, good news. Anybody's got Xbox Live, those ports are going to be open. All I have to do is get on their system. They send you an email saying, here's some hotsy-totsy pictures of Anna Kournikova. You open it, it's on your system, and it's got a port wide open, and it says, come on in, boys, the water's fine. And all of a sudden, your entire network is compromised.
Yeah. Now, is that going to kind of thing going to happen on a Mac? Because most of that stuff doesn't work in general.
Well, it could happen on a Mac, but here's the good news. That's why you're forwarding these ports directly to the Xbox Live. Okay. So the only machine that's at risk here is the Xbox Live. So now a hacker has to write a Trojan horse for the Xbox Live, and that's a whole other thing. They're not going to do that. They're writing them for Windows machines. So you're safe. You just got to make sure you do that properly. The instructions on the Microsoft site are very clear about how to do that.
Okay.
And it's just those three ports. It's actually two ports, 88 and 3074.
Okay.
And 88's for the UDP protocol, and 3074 is both UDP and TCP. And you can do that from your airport, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It's just a little tricky stuff you have to do. Halo 3 is awesome, though. It's worth doing it.
It is.
It's so much fun to play. Maybe I'll see you on there. What's your Xbox Live gamer tag?
It's GeckoMan71.
GeckoMan71?
Yep.
Meet Twit Laporte. I'll see you online, all right?
Thanks very much.
Take care. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Coming up in just a bit, our favorite Callie Lewis from Geek Brief TV. She's going to be here via Skype and show you how to pimp out your webcam. See, we can put lots of flames on them right now, like that. But first, a quick quiz question of the day. Are you ready? When did the computer known as ENIAC first go online? And for bonus points, what does ENIAC stand for? 1946, 1952, 1963, or the dawn of man? Go to the website, give us the answer, we'll talk about it. The lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. Leo Laporte here, and my good friend Callie Lewis is going to join us right now, right in this screen. Hello, Callie.
Hey.
She's on Skype, believe it or not, from her studio in Dallas, Texas, where she does Geek Brief, her great video podcast for geeks. Hi, Callie. So, hey, I like your Geek Brief TV microphone. That's nice.
Thank you. I'm loving it.
Did Bob Heil send you that?
No, we bought it.
Oh, that's great, though. It's a Heil. I know it's a Heil mic. That's really cool.
I know. I copied you, I think.
No, you didn't copy me.
No, this is not yours?
Well, I have one that says Twit, but believe me, there were people doing this long before you and I were doing it. Long before you were born. So let's talk a little bit about pimping out your webcam. You're using Skype right now, and I mean, it looks great and everything, but wouldn't it be more fun if you could set yourself on fire?
Yes, I can set myself on fire, and let's play around with this. I'm using an application.
I love it. How do you do that?
Okay, so I'm using an application called CamTwist, and it works on Skype. It works with Ustream as well as Stick'em, and this is a lot of fun because it's free, which is the great part about it. And you have so many choices with CamTwist. What you do is you set up your webcam, or if you're using an external mic, whatever camera that you want to set up, or you could actually do your desktop. You can stream your desktop too. So I have it set up on our camera, and since it's the middle of winter, I'm going to have little snowflakes here.
In fact, we're going to have some snowflakes any minute now, apparently, in Vancouver. So hey, that's really cool.
Lots of little fun things that you can do with it. I can also be in an earthquake.
I thought Neil bumped into the camera. I didn't realize that was on purpose.
Yeah, it's not your cameraman. And then there are some really useful things. So if you're trying to actually do a professional video and you want to add maybe an RSS ticker. So here I have your Twit RSS feed in here.
Oh, that's neat.
And
now I know Chris Pirillo uses something like this when he's doing his Ustream. He'll have ads and he'll have chat room ticker. All of that's done with CamTwist?
Yes, it is. It's all done with CamTwist,
cool.
And they just have so many useful things. We can do an image overlay here, and you can move it around wherever you want it to be.
So you can have an over-the-shoulder graphic like real news person? I like that.
Say that again?
You can have a over-the-shoulder graphic or a blog like MTV does. That's very cool.
Right. Yeah, very. And so that's CamTwist. Lots of options. Fun to play with, and it's free, and it works with Skype and Ustream and Stick'em. So lots of fun there. There's also, we have iChat, which in the new Leopard, it has some green screen effects, and this is a lot of fun.
CamTwist unfortunately does not work with iChat, but it has so many features with built-in iChat, you really don't need CamTwist so much, right? I guess you're having a hard time hearing me. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. You talk.
No, you sound very, very far away, like in another land.
Okay, so show us what you can do with iChat.
Okay, so with iChat, we have some of the things that you see in Photo Booth, and like Matt, if you'll turn on your twirl. So
our producer Matt Harris is going to turn on his twirl here.
And this you've seen in Photo
attractive.
Booth. Yeah, very attractive.
Look, I've turned myself into a puppet. Isn't that a nice effect? That also comes with iChat, I believe, the puppet effect.
Right. And they also include green screen effects. So if you will step out of the camera and turn on the fish.
Turn off the twirl first, though, please. There we go. Okay, so it has to get the background. It's going to figure out the background, and now it's going to put him. Now, I've noticed, Callie, I don't know what your thoughts are, but it works better if you have a simple background behind you, right?
Definitely. You want as flat a background as possible, and it should be simple. A blank wall as possible.
Oh, dear. Nevertheless, that's a pretty amazing effect considering this is just a chat program.
It's a lot of fun. And then my favorite is roller coaster.
Yeah, he's on it right now going backwards.
No, isn't he going backwards?
Yeah, that's how cool.
I like to turn that on when I'm talking to people. It kind of confuses them.
Yeah, I wonder why they have it going backwards. I guess that's the only way you could do it, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was wondering the same thing.
That's a neat one.
And
he's the sun god
there's an
now.
application
This is how Matt sees himself,
Windows.
I believe.
There's an application called Super Webcam for Windows, and it's free as well. But a lot of people have had buggy issues with it, so it's not perfect like these Mac applications that we've been playing around with. But it's free, so hey, go along with the bugs.
I've tried Super Webcam, and one of the advantages that CamTwist and iChat have is this capability is actually built into the operating system. So all they're really doing is calling core animation and core image features, Quartz features that are already built into the OS. So you get pretty much the same effects, and they work pretty well. Regardless. So that, you know what, these poor guys at Super Webcam have to build it all from scratch, so that's a little bit harder to do. Callie had so much fun. Thank you for. Which is your favorite effect? Show us your favorite effect here.
What?
Okay, what's your? See, her earpiece is falling out.
My favorite effect.
What's your favorite effect?
Yes, yell at me. My favorite effect in CamTwist, I think is the Arthos ticker, even though it's not as fun. I like the bubbles and the snowflakes. And then also the roller coaster is my favorite in the chat.
Do the comic book one. I like the comic book one. Do you have that one?
Yeah, comic book is fun too.
Watch, we're going to turn her into a. Can you turn yourself into a comic book? Can you do it?
Say that again.
Can you do it?
I can.
Do the comic book. She's all the way in Dallas. I have to shout. Do the. Never mind. It's great to talk to you. Callie Lewis is the host of GeekBrief.tv, and you can see her on the web there, as well as DearCallie.com. And she has makes regular appearances on some of my shows too on the Twit Network. She was just on This Week in Tech, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Callie. See you later. Bye bye. More of your calls coming up in just a bit as the lab continues. Can you hear me? As the lab continues.
Hey, welcome back to the Lab with Leo. I'm Kate Abraham, and my tip of the day is for all of you out there who are looking to get some tech tutorials at your own pace. You can be any level from novice to advanced. Lynda.com is a fantastic tutorial site to help you with any form of technology you want to learn about. Lynda.com, it's actually set up by a lady called Linda, believe it or not, and the idea is you can look through and decide which topics you actually want to have more tutorials on. So for instance, if I wanted to learn more about GarageBand, what I can do is it's actually screencasts, and literally you can go through at your own pace and repeat if you need to. Very simple to use, very easy, very user-friendly.
You still have to make sure that you're
so many topics.
Mesh well together, but
so many topics. And this actually is a subscription service. So you're looking at $25 a month, or you're looking at $250 for the year. But there is a huge, huge database of the different topics.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Wow,
very,
that's really
very
neat.
Cool. It's super user-friendly as well, which is great, you know?
Very cool. What's that called again?
It's called Lynda.com. It's Linda with a Y.
L-Y-N-D. You know, I know who she is. I used to interview her on the, I think we did have her on the site. Yeah, she's great. And a few friends of mine, like Scott Bourne, make content there.
Yeah, I think actually she's an ex-teacher, so she's very,
she's
everything
great.
is incredibly understandable and very easy to sort of digest, which is great.
Somebody recently suggested this is a good way to, if you're new to the Mac, learning Mac, because they have Mac basics as well.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing as well. They've got a huge tutorial on Leopard right now as well. So
exactly.
If you're still trying to get used to the new Leopard, go to Lynda.com.
Linda with a Y.
Linda with a Y.
Not Linda with an I.
Not with an I.
Linda with an I. It's Linda. And now, it's time for another call.
Absolutely. We have John from Sudbury in Ontario on the line.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Hello, John.
Hello, Leo. How are you doing?
Fantabulous.
Good.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely John from Sudbury. What can I do for you today?
Leo, my problem has been trying to get the Macromedia, or Adobe now, the Shockwave player to work on my laptop. It works fine on my main desktop machine, but not on the laptop. Every time I go to a site that requires the Shockwave, it just keeps reinstalling,
I hate
but
that.
It never works.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
So
and
probably...
I've searched the web, I've tried all the things, I've uninstalled it, reinstalled it, and cleaned everything out of the registry, and it just doesn't work.
Here's my suggestion. Normally when you do, Flash and Shockwave are related. So normally when you install Flash and or Shockwave or both, you will do it from the web. They have a kind of built-in installer.
Yeah.
Because of web security, and I said, what operating system are you using on the laptop?
Windows XP
Service
Pro.
Pack 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the changes Microsoft's made to security, a lot of times these ActiveX controls, that's what they're using to install it, don't automatically run, and you may not get a warning, and they may not really work very well. So generally, if you're having trouble with installing Shockwave or Flash, I can't promise this will work, but this is the thing to do. If you go to Adobe's site, you can get a standalone downloader. Instead of trying to install it in the browser,
it doesn't work.
You tried it.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So you download, you go to the Shockwave Player Download Center and you download it standalone. Close all your browsers. You did that, right?
Yeah.
Then run the installer.
Tried that. Been there, done that.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Yesterday I was looking at the registry entries on my desktop under the HKey Current User section. And I noticed there's a lot of entries under Macromedia Shockwave 10 there. Those entries are not on the laptop section.
Yeah. That's probably part of the install. So the install's not taking for some reason.
That's right. And I don't know why.
What is it that you want to use with Shockwave? Have you tried installing the Flash Player? Does that install?
Flash Player, there's no problem with that.
Okay.
The site I'm going to, most times it's the British Library have a section there called Turning the Pages.
Oh, neat. And it uses Shockwave.
And it uses Shockwave. And every time I go there, it says, oh, you need it, so it installs it, but it never works.
Yeah, because Shockwave is kind of outdated. Most people now have abandoned Shockwave in favor of Flash. Obviously, the British Library is a little slow to move in cases like that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're using Shockwave and not the Telegraph. So, boy, that's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what to do. I mean, that's the only fix I know. It probably is a security issue. One thing you might try doing is go to your internet options and turning, just for this one event, turning your security all the way down.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And that didn't work either.
No. Like I say, I've tried just about everything.
Interesting.
I don't know whether there's some setting in my laptop that's preventing the full install going through. I don't know. I've tried all the things that I've seen other people try, and it doesn't work.
Well, I'm looking, this is their troubleshooting page, and I'll put a link, you've probably been there though, the Macromedia Shockwave Support FAQ, trouble with Windows XP installation. Do you ever get an error message?
No, never get an error message.
It looks like, what they say is you need to download the latest version of the Shockwave player, and then Microsoft has their own tech note, number 15924. I would go to the FAQ. I would download the version they recommend. I would also look at, it looks like is that Microsoft will sometimes see the Shockwave file as one of its own system files and replace it. So you need to use the stand-alone installer. This is what they say. Users encountering repeated error messages or unsuccessful installation should uninstall the Shockwave player using the uninstaller. Yeah. You'll actually be able to download that from their website. Yeah. Reinstall the player from the download page using the standalone installer, which is basically what I told you to do.
Yeah.
You're right. There's something on that machine that's unique, but I can't. Probably what it is a bad install that's blocking it. So you think you're right to go in the registry and look around, but if you've gotten rid of all the keys, I'd get rid of all the Macromedia keys.
Yeah, they actually have another little program, it's kind of show fix it is, and it goes through and it cleans up all in there, so you have nothing left. And when I've tried to reinstall it, I get the little bar pops up, you want to install this ActiveX control. So obviously at that point, it
thinks it needs it.
So it installs.
Yeah, but don't do the ActiveX. I think that's part of the problem. You are using the standalone Shockwave player installer, right?
Well, I'll try that again.
That's all I can think of. I mean, this is what Macromedia says. I have seen this problem, but if you get the standalone latest one, 7.03.15, I'm sorry, the latest one is 8.5, it looks like. No, 9. I find all the versions. Make sure you get version 9. That looks like there is no 10. We don't hear a 10. Do I hear a 10? Maybe by the time this airs, it'll be a 10. Looks like you want to get that latest one as of this taping, 9000434. Download that and install it. Close all your browsers before you do so. That's the only thing I can suggest. I wish you luck, John. That's annoying when and sometimes it's really hard to figure those things out. It really is. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back in just a little bit. with Sean. He's got mini multimedia devices. That should be a lot of fun. Right now, though, our quick quiz question of the day. You ready? Here it is. When did the computer known as ENIAC first go online? Was it 46, 52, 63, or the dawn of time? I don't know. What do you think? Tell you what, we'll tell you when call for help. I'm sorry, the lab continues. Do I owe you $5 now?
15.
15? Oh, man. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we asked you when ENIAC first went online. It actually was 1946. There's a picture of it right there. We'll show you here. This was I think the first, wasn't it the first PC? It was analog, it wasn't digital. It used tubes and electronic signals. Stands for I can't remember.
Oh, you had it a second ago.
I had it a second ago. Something numeric integrated. Do you remember?
I don't.
Oh. Electronic, numerical, integrated, and integrator and computer.
I just know its theme song.
ENIAC. I'm an ENIAC on the floor. Boy, I'm sorry for that. So let's talk about meeny, teeny, weeny devices. Sean's got some shinies for us. These are for listening, multimedia, enjoyment, video, audio, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Book reading?
I mean, we're all familiar with the MP3 player for a number of years, but more recently, video has been integrated into more and more of these things.
Well, and as more and more things have flash memory and have decent screens, you can even put it on stuff that you wouldn't expect it to be on. You know?
Yes, definitely.
Phones.
I mean, I've got just right here in this pocket right here. I've got an iPod Nano, and
look how tiny that is.
This is not part of my demo, but
that's really
it's small and it plays videos.
Right.
I'll just tuck it away again. Sorry, Matt. We will start, though, I guess,
Let's start with the Touch.
We'll start with the iPod Touch. So
this is a nice.
This is the newest of the batch. So
I've played with all the video players, including all the Arcos.
Right.
Arcos pioneered this, but I have to say this, because of the touch interface, is the best way to watch video I've seen. Don't you think?
Right.
Great screen.
It's got a great screen. People complain that it's not necessarily as good as the one on the iPhone, but I think it's perfectly fine if you're not looking at it.
I didn't know that, really? It's not quite as
some
good?
people are saying it's not quite as crisp.
Well, you have both. Do you notice that?
I haven't really noticed a huge difference myself. I think it's people that are just looking at it under
They're trying to find something.
under lights. So, and I mean, you flip it sideways.
It still does that thing?
It should flip sideways.
That doesn't do it while video's playing.
No, it doesn't do it while video's playing. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
That's
very,
really
very good
cool.
quality.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with any of these devices that we have with flash memory, and when you're talking video, is they have only a certain amount of video memory on there. So this is 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes on the Touch.
Now, we should say we're recording this before Macworld Expo.
Right, so this could
I would be
change.
surprised if you see a larger one at Macworld Expo.
It's quite possible it'll be 32 or 64 by that point. But
maybe not, but we just don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, you only fit so much video on that. Video is very demanding, unfortunately. So all of these that we're showing off today are very much about having the portability of it, not necessarily a lot of it.
Right. I find, though, 16 is fine as long as I manage it with iTunes and I say only the most recent unwatched episodes. It moves episodes in and out.
Right.
You know.
So the iPod is a really great thing because of that management capability on
the
there.
iTunes key.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So keep your playlists up to date. And that one's about $299 for the 8 gig, $399 for the 16 gig at this point as we're recording.
Right.
So we're going to take a look now at SanDisk's Sansa.
I think this is pretty nice. I mean, this is a credible competitor.
Right. So it has it has 8 or 16 gigabytes on there. It's a little bit less expensive, 165 or 220. It's a smaller screen though, and that's part of the issue here. It's got a pretty good menu interface there. And it is usable.
Does it turn sideways so that we can see it wide?
It will actually turn sideways when we're playing it. So we're going to scroll through. I've got a Lab Rats episode here again.
I like the controls. I like the fact that they have a scroll wheel.
So again, it plays sideways, and it's viewable. Definitely, you can.
It's smaller though.
It's smaller. You can make out the content that's on here. We have captions at the bottom here, and you can actually read them.
I have the new Zune 2, which is very similar size and screen size. I know you can't get it in Canada and Australia, but it's pretty similar.
Yes, so I'd love to take a look at that, but yeah, I think it's a licensing issue in terms of getting the content
and
available
it may come up here. It may well.
So I'm hoping on that. Again, $165 for the 8 gigabyte, $220 for the 16 gigabyte for this. A really good thing. The one thing I don't like, and I'm dangling it off the side here, it's got a proprietary connector.
Same with the Zune. Makes me crazy.
So a lot of them have.
Same with the iTouch.
USB. Yep.
So iTouch has a proprietary connector.
At least that one is standard across the entire iPod line.
Right.
So you can get a whole pile of accessories that'll do it for you for not too much money. These ones right here, you have to find it.
Yeah.
So
There's no reason not to use a USB port.
Right.
In fact, that's what we have right here with the Zen.
The Zen has a USB port attached on here. We'll just fire this up. It's gone to sleep on us. But
now this
Zen,
is kind of nice because you can add memory. This has an SD card slot.
Right. And the SanDisk actually does. It has a mini connector as well. And this one right here. Let's turn this on. I think it's being a little bit.
It's blue. I see
flaky.
blueness.
So anyways, we've got a memory card in here right now. We took that out and put it into the other one. So this one, it comes in 4 gigabytes, comes in 8 gigabytes and 16 gigabytes. So you have a variety of different sizes
here. And you could add an 8 gig card to it?
You can add an 8 gig card to this. Whatever you can put into that secure digital slot.
Right.
Now, the one thing that drives me crazy about both the SanDisk and this one is that you have to format your video for the screen. So generally, you want to be converting it on Windows Media Player and transferring it to
it
via USB.
So you have to convert it before you can use it. Now, this is kind of a departure. This is a GPS device that will also play video.
That's a GPS. That's the Mio DigiWalker C720.
I like these, I have to say.
It's a really great GPS. It plays music and shows your photos. It does play video. It is a bit halting. So if we
so it doesn't have a lot of horsepower.
If we hit the play control here, so it's.
Oh yeah, I can see it's not full frame rate.
It's very choppy. So you don't necessarily want to use this as your primary video device. I don't think. Yeah. I'm assuming that you can get this playback a little bit less choppy if you optimize it for that particular screen. This one hasn't been optimized. And again, it's the same situation. Video playback is a bit of a crapshoot here.
Right.
But this one's about $4.99. It does have
that. And you get GPS.
And you have the GPS. Use it as a GPS. It's got a camera.
How much RAM is on this?
I'm not 100% sure on this.
I like the idea that you can use it as a camera. That's kind of neat, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You could it's got a 2-megapixel camera on it, and it's automatically got the geographic coordinates because it's a GPS. So that's kind of neat. I can't get it out of its thing, but I'm sure with a little effort, I could break it.
Yeah, we'll show that one off more later.
All right. Very cool. Thank you, Sean. Some great portable media devices. You'll find all the details at the labwithleo.com website, labwithleo.com. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with a final word for you right after this. Stay right here. Well, I'll tell you, we have run out of time, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's been great.
I've learned many things, some of them on camera, some of them off. But I think we should do this all again.
Just
what do you think?
do it all again tomorrow.
One more time? Now, I'll tell you what, there's one thing missing from tomorrow's show. Mm-hmm. You.
Absolutely. We need callers, please.
How do we get them on?
At labwithleo.com/tech questions. Submit your question there. We'll get you on. We will solve your tech trouble.
And if you have a webcam, we like that because we'd love to be able to see you.
Yes, please.
I was just talking a little bit about Kate about how everything now is video enabled. Mm-hmm. You can put video comments on Facebook, video comments everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's kind of amazing. You do a video blog.
I do indeed. That's labwithleo.com/blog/Kate.
Yes. They'd much rather see her than me, I can tell you that right now. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on The Lab. Bye-bye.